Not that. Congratulations, you've unlocked All Apologies, a show about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Trucker Andy, and with me, as always, is your co-host.
He's a fucking Chad.
It's Joe Sixpack, everybody. Joe.
666.
Hey, don't forget to go to allapologiespodcast.com to find the links to our Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. Go there and like, comment, apologize, refuse to apologize, demand an apology, and we continue to ask you to go to YouTube and subscribe to that channel as we grow that community. Andy, may the 4th be with you.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't coming out until later, but the day of the record is May the 4th. So we had to do a Star Wars episode because there's so much to shit on, Joe.
Oh, God.
Why has it become so bad? Why are our childhoods being raped?
Well, there is some hope for the future. At least we'll get to these announcements later, that the new content coming out. But yeah, what we decided to look at, I guess the most egregious one being The Last Jedi, right? And other things related to that.
We had to have a subject matter expert that was there for the theatrical release of A New Hope, Joe. Very special guest, very long time coming.
The Matt Damon to our show.
Long time in the making. I hesitate to even bring him on. I feel like I'm gonna hit add to screen and there'll just be like a Dr. Steve shaped hole in the wall. I was almost like I'm just gonna leave him backstage and say no showed again. So guess who's here?
Oh shit!
He almost walked off. He's like, "Great, I don't have to do this."
That's right. Go fuck yourself.
Dude, I'm so excited for Hackamania.
Yes, thank you. Me too. I'm glad
you figured out a way to still make it.
Well, Melton did. I thought I was a pretty good problem solver, but he came up with 2 really good ideas, and so yeah, both of them were viable. So I'll see you Saturday night.
Yeah.
All I hear is this shit is like logistically like a catastrophe behind the scenes, and they'll like somehow pull it all out in the end or whatever. It seems like every live event is like this.
Yeah, that's right. There were a lot of challenges last year, but this should be much, much better since it's, the venue is used to doing things like this, and it's in the same hotel, so we can just run, down from the hotel room and stuff. So
promo code COME.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was perusing the website and getting all chubbed up for the weekend. It looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, this whole scheduling thing was my way of getting to be headline the thing, because my show's going to be last because I'm going to get there so late.
I'm never keeping up with it, and the last I heard, it was like Kaylee doing Weird Medicine by herself. That's what I heard on WATV. So
yeah, fortunately, it'll be fine. It's prepare to be disappointed, but I'm just going to do it as pretend it's a midnight show. But anyway, so I'm going to apologize in advance on this show. If my segment sucks.
Yeah.
And also, since we're doing Star Wars, you should apologize for doing this on May the 4th, because there's nothing just more hacky than that. In the Star Wars universe. But is Kathleen Kennedy, did she apologize? Is that why we're here, for doing what she did to Star Wars? Or
we did cover, is
George Lucas going to apologize for selling it, the business?
Not to rewind to the first time that you bailed on the show, but I think we did George Lucas that time.
Okay, good.
And we did Disney. We did like Bob Iger and Kevin Feige. Like, so
any of them actually apologize, though? Those are people who should apologize.
You're right. Well, there was more of us demanding apologies from people that have destroyed something cool.
Yeah, that's our loophole for our topics is, it doesn't have to be an apology. We can just be like, "This sucks so bad, they should be apologizing."
Okay. I
And
like it. Well,
yeah.
then this is perfect because they all should apologize for what they did.
I
And you're right.
agree.
I was there. I was there day 1 of episode 4 in Greensboro, North Carolina. I dragged all my friends, and it was on a little tiny postage stamp screen. They didn't think it was going to be anything. And so it was on the smallest screen in this little theater. And my friends were like, holy fucking shit. They were really, I dragged them there. They were not happy about it.
Yeah.
And we knew we had seen something special. And, and then the Hoth scene in Empire Strikes Back and the fact that it ended on kind of a bummer thing. People don't remember who weren't there, but people hated that movie when it first came out.
Empire?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. It caught so
Really?
much shit. And it was before the internet, so you don't see it, but I remember it, the tabloids and the little, fanzines and some people were enraged that it ended on a cliffhanger like that.
Oh, okay.
Were people running around spoiling the Darth Vader reveal too, a la Homer Simpson?
Yeah, right now, or that guy that at the Harry Potter thing that was yelling, Snape kills Dumbledore, Snape kills Dumbledore. People were cussing him.
See, I'm picturing a young Dr. Steve, like Topher Grace from that 70s show-esque, standing, watching the whole thing. I remember Andy and I were like, we must have been, I think, 5 or something when Empire came out, and they had like audio cassettes where you could put it in and like just listen to the whole thing. And the like for kids that age, it was amazing. Like,
that was me dragging my friends. That was the exact year.
And that's awesome.
Cool dude.
But it was all the R2D2 blips and bleeps, just like such an audio adventure to be had with the lightsabers and the blasters and everything. Even with just the cassette, you could really get immersed in it. And so that was really where Andy and I, we were too young for A New Hope, I think. But Empire was obviously formative for everybody in for our generation.
Yeah.
So,
and I do remember seeing Jedi in the theater.
Yeah,
but I don't want to get too far into the show without inviting our other guest on, guys. I tricked Dr. Steve into joining the show by promising him that
catfishing.
Our third wheel, new girl, would be here with a low cut top. And
she's not gonna be here.
Dr. Steve was like, "I'm in." Yeah. Come to find out that she's having a bit of a hard time this morning and couldn't make it. So in her stead, she's sent her champion, arguably a far better person to discuss Star Wars and other movie related stuff. I'd like to welcome Tooke onto the show.
Hi, everyone. Bonjour. Bonjour. Try not to hate me immediately.
Who could hate that face?
Well, I don't know. Maybe if we just change the name to maybe nobody will notice.
Be a little closer, okay?
Yeah. So, 2K, what was your formative experience with Star Wars before? Well, I want to establish this only because there's people, we're of a generation that really loved this. Like it was like revolutionary for us from a entertainment standpoint, and just to see how
old were you
and shitty it is.
In puppy ears. How old were you when this first came out?
I'm going to speak through the human that's currently violating me. His experiences. He was 5 when New Hope came out. So, and this is how I'll put it. He learned the difference between good and evil from Star Wars.
Yeah.
that was his formative. Had no concept of good and evil. Watched Star Wars and said, "Oh, that's what that is." And then went to see it 4 more times that summer. It's fucking amazing. It was so great.
Okay, so we all kind of feel the same way about this, and then I think you also put it well, is like we learn the difference between good and evil, and I would say The Last Jedi really tries to change what the definition of good and evil is for us in probably not a great way. So that's what we're talking about, right? Andy, do you have any more introduction to or
not? I know you're right. This is primarily focusing on what I would consider the most heinous of the franchise for several reasons that we'll get into. But I want to reiterate that the experience that we had when the prequels came out and all the excitement that revolved around that, it was kind of like the dawn of the internet where you could see a lot of things online, but people were still lining up outside the theater for hours waiting to see it. Like all people were just getting out of the theater, getting back in line, seeing it all over again.
Andy and I waited in line to get tickets to like the 5th show on the first day. Like we waited in line for no reason. And when we ended up
The Force Awakens
for episode 1, for when the second trilogy came out, we stood in line for hours to get very mid tickets, and like then we go to the theater, and you could have just walked in at any time, but we did spend hours in line for no reason.
I was so high that I was standing in line for Unfaithful, a totally different movie.
No, I've got some. I remember when, episode 1. Was it Burger King or something had those like Queen Amidala drink things, and my friends who were, big biker type dudes and stuff were walking around carrying these Queen Amidala drink things, this big plastic top. And I have a piece of memorabilia in there that I'll go grab from episode 1. I don't think it works anymore, but that is still part of my collection. I remember how excited people were when that stuff.
Burger King always did that. Like even like during the original, like the 4, 5, and 6, they always did like the special Star Wars glasses that you would come in and get, and then you would try to complete the collection and end up angry because you could never get one of the glasses.
Right. Well, the excitement was palpable back then, and I remember loving episode 1, even despite Jar Jar and all that stuff. I dragged friends to it. I went and saw it multiple times, and then the internet kind of turned me against it. And as time has gone on, I've come back around again. I'm glad to see Hayden Christensen finally sort of getting his due in the nostalgia thing, because he didn't do anything wrong. You cannot deliver these lines. There's a reason why. Fox hired Shakespearean actors to do Magneto and Professor X, because only Shakespearean actors could deliver a line like, "This plastic prison won't keep me for long, Francis." Darth Vader, only you could be so bold. That did cringe me out even the first time I saw it, because it was just so poorly delivered. But it wasn't Carrie's fault. It was just a ham-handed line. And Lucas was very ham-handed with his dialogue and character development.
I had to say, I'm a Star Wars apologist. I enjoyed the episodes 1, 2, and 3. I had fun with them. They felt like Star Wars. So for me to hate 7, 8, and 9 as much as I do, it really, really had to suck.
I wanted to like it so bad.
So bad. I was so.
There were things about it I still do like. But I had to do a lot of headcanon to make it make any sense.
You didn't like 7 either?
No, I liked it kind of at the beginning, but then it set up all these mysteries, like who's Maz Kanata and how did she get the lightsaber and all the, they set up all this stuff. And none of it made any sense. I like the idea of a weapon that, could travel through hyperspace, but why make it look like the Death Star? And, and then why do we destroy it the same way? And why does this person have all these powers when it took all these other people, their whole lifetime to develop? So, all those mysteries were set up, but then there's no payoff.
I think what we're kind of hearing, and I'm glad Dr. Steve's here to like have a firsthand account of, at least from a more
mature, you can say.
Well, not a 5. Well, I just mean not a 5-year-old like bleep blue brain. Like you were there to understand the what was happening in the zeitgeist at the time, and that to hear that people hated Empire when it came out, that just reinforces to me that the audience, like, it almost is problematic from this Disney. If we were to, I'm not cutting them any slack, but if you were to cut them slack, you could be like, well, people hated Empire when it came out. People hated Return of the Jedi. People hated the little kid in episode 1. People hated the little Boba Fett in episode 2. It's just like there's shit to hate the entire time. Like, through, if people are going to hate everything, I guess, or find shit to hate.
They hate this show. They know that.
They're hating this.
And when you brought up by episode 7, there are some fun parts of episode 7, but the way they killed Han Solo, that was it. It's like Han Solo should not go out with a whimper. He should go out guns blazing, flying the goddamn Millennium Falcon into a Star Destroyer. That's how Han Solo should go out.
You know,
for him,
you make a good point.
Cheek, like, good boy, and fall and die.
It's representative of the whole sequel trilogy. It kind of went out with a whimper.
Right. I blame Harrison Ford a bit for that because he didn't want to do the movie. And he just came in like, just kill me. All right, fine, we'll kill you.
He was saying that the whole time after every take.
What's such a bummer about that? You're exactly right, but like there's things like Han using Chewie's like the crossbow blaster and shit. Like there are things that, the bowcaster, things like that are just like amazing. Everybody wanted that to happen, you know. Like there's things that they do right in it. But
it's like Captain America holding Mjolnir because that kind of thing.
The trailer kind of fucked with you too. If you remember, do you remember the trailer was the part with the Millennium Falcon? Like the end of the first trailer, Millennium Falcon's doing this big fucking loop being chased by TIE fighters, and you're thinking, fucking Han and Chewie are back in the Millennium Falcon. It turns out to be Rey and Finn. They come out, it's bullshit.
This fucking poor bastard Finn. The way that guy gets treated in this,
it's awful.
Specifically, and
Captain Phasma, it's like she shows up. We're just supposed to believe she's evil. We have no reason to understand why she would be, and then Finn blasts her off that parapet or whatever at the end. It's like, well, that was really unsatisfying.
I have always said that Finn is the second worst character in Star Wars history, behind
not his fault. And he said these things like, Star Wars fans, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, it's not the fans' fault, and it's definitely not your fault. Nobody didn't like you, for any other reason other than your character was poorly written,
right,
and poorly dealt with. Oscar Isaac, he is a really great actor. I mean, if you watch Ex Machina or any of the other things that he's been in, he's fantastic. And to do what they did to him in The Last Jedi, and then have Holdo go, I like him. It's like, why? All you've done is complain about him. He was subordinate as fuck. You didn't ever tell him what your plan was, so he didn't, buy it. And then at the end, I like him.
Yeah,
like, really?
Yeah. You just told him he was an asshole.
Right. What changed your mind?
Right.
Well, before we put the cart before the horse.
Sorry. Okay, I know. I'm just. You got me fucking riled up.
I know. Same.
Take a heart pill or something, doctor. But just to get into the meat and potatoes of the episode is about shitting all over The Last Jedi.
Okay.
And
sorry.
When everybody got to the end, Force Awakens was the 7th one, right? And you get to the end, and Rey shows up with the lightsaber and hands it to, in isolation, Luke Skywalker, and again, it's a cliffhanger that everybody hates. There's like, you're just gonna
cool
end
cliffhanger though.
Right. They got you all fucking hard for the second one.
JJ did a good job with the first one.
Well, the 7th, they just rehash a lot of of episode 4.
Well, all this MacGuffin stuff too.
Here's more.
We needed a map to find Luke Skywalker if he didn't want to be found. And wasn't that like where the Jedi started? How would they not know to go?
Somebody would know. Yeah.
But anyway, take a look here.
That was weak. It's almost as weak as the stupid dagger in episode 9.
Yeah. So they do this whole open with Poe, where they're just shoehorning Han Solo vibes onto Poe Dameron. They want you so bad to believe that he's as cool as Han Solo, and he's just fucking not. It's not earned, and it's a weird way to start the movie. I know people actively hate that part of the movie, but
I wanted to like him.
Yeah, you want.
I wanted him to be awesome. I did like him, but I wanted him to be awesome.
The movie started with a phony phone call.
Right.
The Turkey boys.
Yeah.
Get me Brett Weir, I said. Get me Han Solo. I fucked the joke up anyway. Not a funny person. Go ahead.
Right. So I mean, they're trying to do the where Han is behind the console pretending to be the Star Wars or the stormtrooper, right?
We're
like,
fine. How are you?
Here. How are you? That's what they wanted that to be, and it's just not earned with that character. So people hate that. But then it gets to this scene, and you're like, oh fuck, this is a piece of shit.
Uh-oh.
Awesome. Awesome things happening.
He's gonna cut her head off. It's gonna be dope.
He's gone dark. He's gone dark. Little anticlimactic.
Yeah, they might as well have just shown the lightsaber land in a toilet full of shit and be like, okay, this is all your expectations are out the fucking window. Anything that you thought was going to be cool about this is not going to fucking happen.
Yeah,
right off the bat.
It's just like fundamentally like why everybody hates what's like. I have to admit, like when I heard Disney was buying a lot of these properties, I was like, this is going to be so good. We're going to get so much more content, which we did. But what I didn't realize is that they would be treating it so like shabbily,
cavalierly.
And doing like actively shitting on this one, like shitting, like everything about this shits on the legacy of the property. It's so. And in a really ham-handed way too, like not subtly, like they just shit on it.
That was a trend in 2024, 2023, where we got to kill Indiana, or we got to make Indiana Jones a fucking loser. We got to make
deconstruct everything.
James Bond dies. It's like anything that an old fucking white man thought was cool is let's just kill it and turn it into a young woman of color. Hey, anybody want to go see Ironheart with me? No, thank you. Okay, so
well, this is for Dr.
I'll watch Ironheart if it's well written. Just write a good story for fuck's sake.
Don't get me started on the second Black Panther. We'll have a whole other show going on.
We'll do that next time you're on.
Well, so one of the things on this show that we've seen, especially with social media, is that a younger generation, whatever they grow up with, they have to tear down eventually. They either grow up to learn that they're embarrassed to have liked what they liked. And this was like Colleen Ballinger and Jake Paul, or like we have these social media accounts where the audience turns on them and they're just like, oh, I never should have liked this. And that means it's bad.
Right.
And this is that happening at like, $1 billion franchise level of they're like, no. This is not for you anymore.
$1 billion. It was $4 billion, right?
Yeah, right. And they're just like, no, we're going to tear all the everything, the legacy of this. We're going to tear it all down and start fresh because we only care about that next generation. Which is the one that ends with the little kids thinking that they're going to be part of the resistance or something? Is that
I forgot about that.
Yeah, the kid does like a little bit of like a force thing.
Right.
He moves something with the force. So you think
that's what they care about. That's what Disney cares about.
I have no problem with them trying to make a fantasy movie more kid friendly. I definitely did that with episode 1, but these beats are for nobody. They're not for fans. They're not for kids. And I mean, maybe this other thing is, but Mark Hamill shows up to do this movie and is already arguing with Rian Johnson about the direction of the character.
I told Brian this. It's no surprise. I said, I just fundamentally disagree with your concept of this character. and how you use them.
One thing in the documentary that kept coming back up was you saying that you fundamentally disagreed with Rian Johnson's. I know.
I wish they hadn't done that. I'll tell you why. Because that should remain in the rehearsal process.
Mm-hmm.
That should be between the screenwriter and the director. And
well, you said
I
it.
regret saying that out loud. And
okay.
I said it before I saw the whole movie.
There's your apology.
I said it before I saw the whole movie put together, and then I said I fundamentally disagree with your concept of this whole franchise, not just this character.
Right.
Everything you're doing fucking sucks.
I actually didn't hate the Luke Skywalker stuff in that. When he said this isn't going to go the way you think it's going to, and when he was standing there and they had the Death Star weapon and all that, I thought that was reasonably interesting. My issue is that can you imagine the Luke Skywalker that we knew actually, no matter how evil Kylo Ren was, he was a kid when he went to kill him, and that's his best friend's kid. Can you imagine that really happening? So the headcanon that I don't know why they didn't use this, was that Snoke, Palpatine through Snoke was actually manipulating him and manipulating, we knew he was manipulating Ben Solo. Why not have him behind the whole thing? It would explain everything. That's how powerful he had become. And that the whole throwing away the Jedi and all that stuff could have been Palpatine. And that would have fit his agenda too. Don't start the Jedi back up. I need to stop that. So I'm going to make Luke, turn on the whole Jedi order and everything. That would have made sense. Why not? 2 lines in the third movie could have fixed some of this.
I think that you're trying to make something.
I know.
Everybody just automatically goes,
pig, but
it fucking sucks. Like, not nice Star Wars. And Dr. Steve is like, what were they trying to do that where this would actually make sense? And I don't have to hate it.
The thing about that scene is there's multiple versions of the scene. There's like from Luke's perspective, there's from Kylo's. So we never find out what really, like, was he coming to kill him? Was he coming to confront him? Like, we see Kylo's version of it and we see Luke's version of it. We don't know which freaking one's the actual version.
Right, and that could have been seen through the lens of Palpatine as well. If they're going to bring him back, I just don't think they had any idea they were going to bring him back until the last minute. And that's part of the problem with this, is that they didn't have an overarching story. They didn't know anywhere they were going with it. They were just like, we need to make movies.
That sounds like the J.J. Abrams style of Lost.
I never understood. I never understood this concept that they seem to have. It was like 4 Rooms. If you remember the movie 4 Rooms, where Tim Roth is the bellboy, and it's like, we're going to drop a different director into each scene here, and that's what they did with this. Is just like, I think after Rian Johnson, they're just like, Jesus, everyone hates this. We have to do something. So they brought JJ back, right? Did JJ do the last one, right? Yeah. He did the first one, and they're like, we'll have Rian do this one. And I think they probably wanted to have Rian do the third one too. But they're like, Jesus, he fucked this up so bad. We have to bring it. They didn't bother to save it either.
Right. The movie looked amazing. I just to be fair to Last Jedi, everything looks incredible on screen. It's just what's the
funny you say that. Like, you guys are leaving.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry.
You guys are leaving breadcrumbs to the package that I have as far as like good. That we're talking about.
While Steve's walking off the show, let's look at the rest of what Mark Hamill had to say about working with Rian Johnson.
It was unexpected, because Luke was always so optimistic and positive, but it's got to move on. I mean, I do like the unexpected, and that was certainly unexpected. And even though it's hard, when you're pushed out of your comfort zone, that's probably a good sign, because otherwise it would be, something that everyone had expected, and that's not good.
God forbid.
Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to collect a paycheck for this.
I'm only kind of like coming to this now as we like revisit this, and I've hated it for since it came out. But this speaks to what they did with Indiana Jones as well, where it's like like let them be let Luke should just be the Ben Kenobi of the first one, where he's there, he's along for the ride, he's part of the adventure, he's going with you, he's not the one who's going to, you know, wield the lightsaber or pull the trigger on the blaster, but he's at least there, and you know, his presence alone will you know, affect the dynamic of the movie. Instead, he's just fucking, you know, hiding in a fucking cave the entire fucking movie. It's unfortunate. Like, and to be, it's almost once again like the younger generation are just like, no, the future is a young female, and there's no place for anything else. No place for any other generation, gender, anything. It is young force. The force is female, and that is it. That's what we're doing. And they were going to die on that hill with this fucking trilogy.
The divine feminine of the Jedi.
And also, Neo isn't the one anymore. It's Neo's girlfriend.
That sucked. Oh my god, that sucked. Oh Christ on the crap! Did that movie suck?
Yeah, it was really bad.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's just watch Mark Hamill sum up. Mark Hamill gotta eat, collecting a paycheck on a movie that he didn't really want to be in.
What's he eating?
And Ryan gave him the set off that you know that also has such meaning for people. So, you know,
we don't care.
I had a beginning, a middle, and an end once, and then I had a beginning and an end. No middle, but that's fine.
So he's just like, yeah, all right, so I'm in the cave, and then at the end, I'm still in the cave. Okay, what we're doing with a beloved character, we're gonna make him humiliate himself on an island while he's refusing a call to action.
Yeah. Don't you just refuse to do this?
Do they sell that stuff at Star Wars Land?
As a matter of fact, they do.
Really? What do they call it? A green
There's
tit
blue
milk?
milk, which we've discussed previously, and green milk. So it's supposed to be a mixer. The blue milk you mix with rum, and the green milk you mix with tequila. Now, I didn't try the green milk. I couldn't bring myself to it.
Let me say, Ed is currently there, everyone. I don't know. Did we establish this? Ed is at that is a real picture of what Ed drank last night.
No. That's actually that's a Jedi mind trick, which is a vodka drink.
Ed is broken into the Scooby-Doo Ghost Town Galaxy Edge Resort and is stealing all of the.
Oh, is that right? Really, you did?
No, I mean, yes, I broke in. I smuggler run myself into the place. I had stormtroopers and Kylo Ren chasing me around.
Oh, they call it making the Kessel Run. That's what
No. Tooke, I'm sorry, New Girl. It's the Kettel Run.
Yes, well played.
I don't know if for anybody who's been there, I have not. Can you go into the hull of the Millennium Falcon there?
Smuggler's Run is a different ride where you get to walk around the deck of the Millennium Falcon, and you will feel like a kid when you walk.
100%.
Yeah.
Rise of the Resistance is the exact same way. You feel like a little kid again.
Yeah.
And they've done such a good job with Galaxy's Edge here in Florida. I don't know what they've done in California. I haven't been there yet, but I can tell you what they've done here. It's from the minute you walk into Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
And you just kind of like look up and you see the walls. It's incredible. It's unbelievable what they've done with the Force perspective and just how good it is.
Yeah.
And then you think of how poorly they've done with all of the rest of the content.
I walked in there. It was like had to get there before rope drop, and it was still dark. That's how early it was. And they were playing the theme from the First Order. And then I had the same experience. I felt like a little kid walking in there and seeing the Millennium Falcon. It's like, oh, it was, and I wasn't a little kid when Star Wars came out, but I still felt like one. So it is testament to just how important this IP is for so many people, and also why they're so disappointed. And the problem is now that people aren't mad about it anymore. They just don't care. And Disney will not stop. And by Disney, I mean Kathleen Kennedy. I'm afraid, but they will not stop until episode 10 opens to $20 million weekend. Then they're going to get, but it may be too late by that point. Now, Andor's awesome.
Didn't she step down? She did step down, right?
I thought I heard she had stepped down. Yeah.
What? I heard that she was going to, and then she came out and said that it was a rumor.
Let's see here. I'm real time.
Why don't you look it up? How we talk about the people that care about this shit the most are the people that are monetizing every stupid little thing about it, including these dumb fucking things that I heard that they had to create these because there was legit indigenous wildlife that they couldn't do anything about, so they just covered all these birds with these dumb
porgs. Are they called porgs? I think I don't remember.
Yeah, they're porgs, but I think they're whatever. They had their version of seagulls or pigeons on this New Zealand island, and it's just like, well, now there's just a bunch of pigeons shitting on everything. So they overlaid these dumb things and turned it into a plushie and sold them at Target and put it on a lunchbox, and morons were in love with it. So this is a reporter cornering Rian Johnson on the red carpet, telling Rian how much he loves fucking the porgs. So embarrassing.
Please tell me to check.
I apologize because I helped co-create #PorgNation.
No apology required. We're all in the Porg Nation together.
Yeah. So I was screaming because people for months and months and months were sending me.
He looks like Petty C cups.
Recipes of how. And then I get to the premiere.
Yeah.
Sitting in the theater.
Yes.
And Chewbacca cooks several porgs.
He does. He doesn't eat them, I guess, to be fair, but that's small. That's a small recompense for those poor porgs, I guess. So sorry.
So we get an apology
Was
there.
that the one where Annie? Was that the one where Annie was in the background?
I don't know. No, this is.
That version of Annie ate several porgs. I can say that.
There was no Constable Zuvio in the film. But my biggest complaint was no Constable Zuvio in the film.
No. I'll take that. I'll take that hit. If that's your biggest complaint, God knows I'll take it.
It's not, Ryan. It's not.
You wish, asshole. Yeah.
The slowest light speed chase in history while looking for gas is my biggest complaint about that goddamn movie.
Which makes no sense from a physical standpoint. You hit a certain velocity in space, and you'll stay at that velocity.
This is why
they're both accelerating. Then one is either accelerating more than the other, in which case they'll pull forward, or they're accelerating less, in which case they'll close the gap. But to just be coasting through space with people chasing you, it's never going to go anywhere.
And
then the Holdo maneuver. Let's not get me started on that.
Oh my god! The whole problem.
Pop that on screen. I shared.
It looked cool in the theater. I'm going to say that it was a really cool scene. But then when you thought about it, it's like, well, why didn't they do that in Return of the Jedi or any other time that they had a space battle? They have droid. Anyway, go ahead.
They do that now in
getting
Ukraine.
pissed again.
Yeah. Take that, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
So she's leaving. She's not leaving filmmaking, but she's leaving Lucasfilm.
That was back in February. See, I think that it turned out to be a rumor. I think she came out later and said it wasn't true, but I could be wrong.
Who's the other big guy? The guy who does a lot of Star Wars stuff. I can't think of his name. His name's all over a lot of that.
Filoni?
Dave Filoni.
Filoni. Yeah, see, when Filoni's involved, then I feel safer with the Star Wars, especially like the TV shows.
He's still involved with a lot of these upcoming projects. That
there are people that are pissed at him too. But the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, I thought were great.
Oh, yeah. I love Mandalorian. I'm a big fan.
Well, yeah, that's the only thing that gives anybody that loves this property hope is you watch season 1 of Mandalorian and you're just like, oh, it's possible for it to be cool.
Or season 1 of Andor. I thought it was brilliant.
Okay. I
didn't.
I just couldn't get into it. I think I had Star Wars fatigue when that came out, and I tried to watch episode 1, and it was a little too slow for me. But I have heard that it's good.
Did you guys watch Clone Wars? In the Clone Wars series, the animated one?
Animated? No.
Yeah, so those are fantastic. Those I think are some of the best Star Wars things. The best lightsaber duels that ever happened in Star Wars all happened in Clone Wars.
Is that right?
Yes, they're amazing. There's some amazing. I love Clone Wars. So
yeah, and I'll give that to the prequels. That was one of the better things. Like I guess I'd really like to see the Topher Grace Phantom edit where he cuts out all the the Jar Jar and Jake Lloyd shit that ruins an otherwise dope lightsaber. Like all the lightsaber choreography really got upgraded in all of the prequels. Everything with Mace Windu and Darth Maul. For fuck's sake, why did they kill him off?
I think they tapped the Clone Wars guy to do the new trilogy, or at least part of it. I think he's involved. I don't know if it's the same guy. I know he definitely came from the animation side of it. The guy that they're investing heavily in for the
really. Well, I know Simon Kinberg is involved in the new.
Oh, that is who is that then?
Well, he's the one that fucked up the Phoenix X-Men storyline 2 different times.
Jesus. Okay, that's not good.
But he's done some decent things, so we'll see. He's spotty for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, I brought up Jar Jar and Jake Lloyd. We brought up Hayden Christensen, people that are kind of hated within the franchise, Joe. But this is the other character that they bring into Last Jedi that is actively hated. People hated this character.
Kellyanne Tran or Kelly Marie Tran, right? It plays Rose Tico.
She's trans?
Yeah.
She's so good in other things, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. She was in Sweet Tooth. Do you guys ever read the comic or watch the show? And she was great in that and played sort of an evil, morally, ambiguous person. But she got screwed by bad writing and zero character development. She just shows up and then all of a sudden
her sister dies. And then that's her motivation. All the rest of the movie. Her sister dies at the beginning of the movie.
Cool, but anyway.
Well, the part you guys mentioned it before too is like, what do I need Rose Tico for when I have Poe Dameron and Finn? Like you have these side characters that you want, or in theory should be very cool, but you don't give them anything to do. You give it all to this character for no reason. Like, and Andy said, completely unearned.
She cuts the balls off of Finn. Like they truck him out. He wakes up from his medically induced coma, and he's walking around in that water suit, just spraying water,
jizzing from every hole.
It's just played for comedy relief, and they just take all of anything that Finn maybe would have to do with this movie and turn it over to this character, and for no reason except for DEI as far as we can tell.
So it's like they were trying to create a love interest for Finn that wasn't Rey.
Yeah. For what?
I don't know.
They could ship the Rey Ren incest narrative. I mean, that's not what it ends up being, but they're like, oh, okay, Rey's in love with Kylo Ren now. Okay. Yeah. So I guess we have nothing for Finn to do. Let's have him be hucked out by Rose Tico.
She's a good actress, poorly written. They just crammed all this stuff in. You got Rose Tico, Poe Dameron, Finn, all these characters that they brought in, and just Captain Phasma again. That one still drives me crazy. They just throwing shit against the wall. All of it stuck, and then they didn't clean it up.
We're just gonna go over the top of this. 2K, what?
The best about Kylo Ren, I thought about this when I watched the first movie.
Knights of Ren.
Yeah,
how about that?
Right, they brought them back toward the end. It was sort of, but that first scene where he stops the blaster bolt, and you're like, holy shit, and he's genuinely intimidating. And then he takes his helmet off. You're like, well, that's over. So much for the intimidation factor. We're done. All right, never mind.
So 2K, you mentioned going to, I think, Burger King to collect like the glasses, and then you'd always get, you'd go and it'd be frustrating. You get the same shitty glass, like the one with 3PO on it or some shit. So this tab, this is less. I went looking for, Rose Tico memes, but so somebody says this is more about the toy than it is about Rose, and I'm like, I think it's both, but somebody got the Rose Tico toy in the mail.
Is there something you're sharing?
Yeah, did you not see it?
No,
Oh yeah, bring it to the stage here.
Hang on, I got to stop sharing my screen and share yours. Here we go. I got it.
Get that
Get the fuck out of here.
Nobody wants that shit.
That's pure hatred. I can associate with that. It's funny when Finn was named because his name was FN, like number as a stormtrooper. Right. And I always remember thinking that Anthony Cumia would have come up with something else for those initials. Instead of Finn.
Yes. I did like that.
That idea of a rogue stormtrooper was a great idea.
Yes, that was cool.
There were so many cool ideas. I just, again,
that beginning to Force Awakens, the big raid where he has the panic attack at the end of it, where it's actually stormtroopers stormtrooping. That was such a fucking great way to open that movie and set everybody up to get their hopes up. And it's just you're in for a long hard fall into disappointment. Joe, was there any more to say about that headline where she deletes?
Oh yeah, yes, of course. So, to at least explain a little bit more about why Rose. Well, there's a clip. My clip 3 here is just it's egregious, really, but just a little bit of why people hate her, like from the movie. This is a clip of like the end scene with her and Finn.
Oh, these fucking things.
Yeah.
I won't let them win.
Yeah, some little piece of shit. This is like a Rambo 3 moment.
Yeah, you know, expendable Finn. I know that was 2, but I'm sorry. That's right.
Yeah, that was 2, but still, Dave, it's this moment. Is she Vietnamese?
That's how we're gonna win. Fighting what we hate.
The planet Vietnam.
Does it chain Buddha around his neck? Gross. He's just like,
you just kept me from saving everybody.
Right. That's sexual assault. He was not trying to kiss her.
Please let her be dead.
Head injury equals no consent.
Unfortunately, she doesn't die there. And so, okay, so my next clip, or still, that's the only like movie clip I have of that. But there's some stills. Then clip 4 or still 4 there. We can just kind of work through these. So it says she deleted her Instagram account for.
Oh, the other one.
Oh my god!
For getting hate, and so this is the type of thing that she was receiving. I can't really read. Let me see here. I'll read it.
I don't blame her for deleting.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
This is what people are sending her. Heil Hitler. I don't know why I was cast as in a good movie like Star Wars. And then it says her name is Ching Chong Wing Tong, is a dumbass fucking character Disney made, and is a stupid, autistic, and retarded love interest for Finn. She better die in the coma because she's a dumbass bitch. Now, I would agree if you could have left off the Ching Chong and the Heil Hitler shit, you would have made a good point. But
I think they're talking about the character. It's not her. Again, right? Good characters. We don't care about their background or anything. I mean, you look at No Way Home, for example. They absolutely race swapped MJ. I've never heard anybody really complain about that because Zendaya is awesome.
You didn't talk to me.
Well, okay. All right. Well, okay.
They did that with all the
I know there are
characters,
probably a
too,
few
Spider-Man.
lunatics, but she's great in that. And, his best friend's Samoan and he lives in Brooklyn. It's very diverse. And nobody said anything nobody complained about that. It's not a right-wing thing. It was extremely well written. It was a fun movie and everybody in it was great. So, that's all this hate for her. I hate that it became personal because it was really people just hated the way it was written and that the character was there.
Don't forget that they also turned his bully Flash Thompson, the jock football player, into a Pakistani mathlete. So
it's true.
Pakistani trust fund baby.
Who's a blogger?
It's almost better though. He was beating him intellectually instead of.
Oh yeah. Peter Parker getting bullied by Urkel is a way better.
There were. I mean, and I know there are lots of people say, "Well, there was a female Silver Surfer, so it's okay," and people bitch about that. But, there were runs of Spider-Man where he and Flash were friends. So
Flash ends up being Venom at some point.
That's right.
He gets the Venom symbiote. Becomes he loses his legs in the war, and then becomes a superhero using the Venom symbiote. So okay, I'm a nerd. Sorry.
Me too. Dude, I'm with you 100%.
War. Not to diverge the conversation into Fantastic. Is there any hope for this new Fantastic Four?
I hope so. I like the 60s vibes.
Hair on Silver Surfer, female Silver Surfer.
I don't care about that.
Lips on Optimus Prime. Like, what are you doing?
I'm willing to. I know, because I kind of gave up on comics about 10 years ago. They just weren't for me anymore. Like it was, they became what everything else was becoming. So I kind of stopped. But for 30 years, I was reading everything Marvel Comics put out, and I guess I know recently people told me, yes, there is a new Silver Surfer who was female, so I'm like, fine, you want to go with that. But this is also supposed to be like an alternate reality.
Correct.
They're going to bring this reality into the mainstream Marvel, which means when it does get brought into mainstream Marvel, it could be you could go back to the Norrin Rad.
Our universe could be Norrin Rad or the 616 or whatever.
What people that are
That's how much of a nerd I am. I know the names.
616, me too.
Were they introducing female Surfer when they were introducing female Thor and female Wolverine? Like if that era that you're talking about, that this character already existed when they started making Ironheart, and every Avenger is a woman now, then that doesn't.
But Logan was great.
Yeah.
She was awesome in there. When they went in to get her and she just comes out with those two claws and she just decimated them all. I thought that was amazing.
It was one of my favorite parts about Deadpool Wolverine as well. Her being
Well, that's James Mangold did that, and he is doing a Star Wars movie, so I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah. The for Fantastic Four, this is the
sorry, go ahead, Joe. Get your Fantastic Four point.
Pedro Pascal concerns me a little bit as Reed Richards. I don't agree with that casting.
Just got to force him into everything. It's like we don't need him in every fucking property. It's a bad casting choice.
It's probably because his sister's trans and they just love to associate the real world with their whole agenda. But the thing that they're doing extremely right with the Fantastic Four is the look of the Thing.
Yeah,
the way they're handling the Thing in this new one. Yeah,
agreed.
The 65.
I'm sorry.
the look of the movie is really good. So we'll see what happens. I like the Galactus thing that they're doing. I don't care if it's like Dr. Steve's been saying. If it's well written, that's what will mean the most. I don't care
I'll put
about
aside some of the woke stuff if it's good. Yeah,
right. So, I have fingers crossed. Eternal hope with these properties. I always want them to be good. Yeah.
Yes.
If it ends like Rogue One, which I think it may, I would be okay with that, where they fail and everything dies, and then they just come into our universe. That might actually
do the Secret Wars thing, and they pull stuff in from different universes.
Yeah, it may actually be kind of cool. So we'll see if they've got the balls to make a good Fantastic Four movie. But anyway.
the sad part was that public outcry was for John Krasinski to be Reed Richards, and they did that in the Doctor Strange one,
right?
And so if they were to like swap it out and insert him, that would be incredible.
Would be.
But yeah, unfortunately they did the thing everybody wanted them to do, and then they again were just like, but fuck that, fuck what the audience wants,
right? Well, up until the last Avengers movie, they really paid service to the fans. Like there was scenes straight out of the comics that they did. That the Captain America using Thor's hammer thing was straight out of the comics. I almost accidentally beat the crap out of my brother when that scene happened because I'm like, oh fuck, it's happening! Oh fuck, it's happening!
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was sitting in the theater watching that next to like one seat away from a couple. It was like me, an empty seat, a girlfriend, and then a guy in his 30s. And when that happened, the guy was losing his girlfriend was looking at him like he was having a stroke, and he was crying and like
what
falling out of his
seat,
jumping up and down. And I mean, I was loving it too, but this one guy was losing his mind in front of his girlfriend. It was
you can't do it in front of your girl. You're hanging out with your brother, sure. You can't do it in front of your
the worst part of that movie is that my daughter had seen it with Trucker Andy and Joe Sixpack. And I hadn't seen it yet, and we're sitting there watching it, and at the very end, right before the snap, she tells me what the twist is, and I just sit there and I look at her.
You're adopted.
Your kid is a fucking problem, because she did when she was even younger. I took her to see Lego Batman, and she spoiled the Star Wars cameo in that for me. It's like, oh, this is where Han Solo shows up, and I was
she's
like,
the fucking worst, man. She's the fucking worst.
Funny. She's doing it to be funny. She's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, that was me in the first Avengers movie where Hulk jumps on the plane and the guy ejects and he grabs the ejector seat before it's going out of the plane. When that happens in that movie, I was out of my chair. I'm just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. I love that. They do so many things right.
We've gotten way off track, Joe. Let's get back to how bad Rose Tico sucks.
Yeah, there was one thing. It's just like the posters all rose. Like it was just like they were clearly trying to ram this. I really think the internet. These memes were like peak internet. When we moved into like Instagram, like moving things and things like that. Those stills with like you could write whatever you want over the stills. I feel like that was like the peak meme of the internet, and it's all bad. But that's just Kylo Ren saying "fuck Rose Tico." I'm carrying this whole franchise. Oh yeah, there it is. Just make her the poster.
The Rose Awakens.
The crazy thing is there's people who think this is the best movie of the franchise. People love this movie.
That's
who are these people?
Yes,
women mostly.
Yeah,
some fucking woke idiots.
But it's not even like the other part of like the poor writing and forcing characters in that are unnecessary, but then also the woke agenda of the casino planet and freeing the racehorses bullshit. So it's like we're going to shit on capitalism. We're going to shit on animal, or make sure that everybody's aware of animal rights. And it's just like an agenda throughout the whole movie for like why. And it's also entirely too long.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on Leia's Mary Poppins scene either.
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
well, they say
could have been done.
They literally laughed during that scene.
Yes.
There you go.
I actively hate Rian Johnson because of this.
Yes, this is the most egregious. I agree.
Yeah. Because she had just died for real.
Correct.
So when they showed this, I was rolling a tear. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Yeah, I thought she was dead.
This is heartbreaking. And the fact that this character, a beloved character from the original trilogy, has passed away in real life, and then to have them kind of make the choice to show this, which if you're just watching this podcast and haven't seen this movie, I don't know why you're listening to this.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert.
Sorry.
So pussy boy Barahawusa Kylo Ren doesn't blow up his own mom's spaceship, but another stormtrooper does, and she just gets like blasted into outer space. And Is this how the human body reacts when it's in outer space?
In a vacuum? I don't think the second she opens her eyes, it should have exploded out of her skull.
But also, it's just like, okay, so just the Force.
Her lungs should collapse. Absolutely.
Yeah. But apparently the Force could just do whatever we want it to do to
sustain you, I guess. Maybe it's
shortcut to terrible writing.
Well, we know that's true because in Empire Strikes Back, people were like, "Oh, right," so he can just make his lightsaber and now come out of the sand to his hand. We didn't believe any of that was what the Force was. It was supposed to be something you tuned into that would let you, accurately get a 1 in a million shot and sort of adjust the odds. And then all of a sudden it became all these other things in The Empire Strikes Back. And then now, you can stop an energy bolt in midair. Or you can be dead and you
yourself.
Correct.
Super speed. Don't forget the super speed episode 1.
Right.
But apparently
it's just every iteration there's a new thing that the Force can do. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. But shrugging off death and the void of space is not in flying. What the fuck is this?
I had the exact same experience you did.
Turns out she's not flying. She's pulling the ship towards her.
Would have been cooler.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
Magnets, right? ICP.
How do those work?
Yeah, they could have made this look so much cooler. It does look like Mary Poppins. I never thought of that. Or the Wizard of Oz.
Well, it's funny when you say that.
Disney has famously reused stuff in all of their cartoon movies. So why not use the same images from Mary Poppins? It's one of their properties.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say like they first
pop out an umbrella.
Yeah. And you said it looks really good. And then we say that this scene could have looked better. One of the reasons they said that Rose is not in the third movie of this trilogy is due to the photorealism. They put her with General Leia, right? Or Organa, or whatever her name is. So they're like, oh, we wanted her in the movie more, but we put her with Carrie Fisher, and the look of it just wasn't there. And it's just like, no, that's your excuse. You removed her from the third movie because everybody hates that character. They're just like, oh, it just didn't look good. Well, you didn't mind CGIing the shit out of Carrie Fisher for this whole thing, but it's a problem in the third one.
The desecration of Carrie Fisher is inexcusable to me, and CGI inserting her into the third one. I understand why they felt like they had to do it, and everybody goes, well, it's what Carrie would have wanted. She would have wanted us to put her head on a stand-in's body and march her around so that we could make millions of dollars.
I have a question for you guys about that. Sure. Okay. So they obviously they killed Han in the first one, killed Luke in the second one. Do you think they would have killed Leia off in the third one, regardless if she hadn't died in real life?
No, because she's a woman.
No. They would have had to. They would have had to, because you can't have the Last Jedi if there's two of them.
That's Well, they may have called it something else though. They could have called it the JJ wraps it all up.
She should have died there. They should have just left her dead there. It would have been way more heartfelt.
And figured out how to continue without her. It could have been an interesting storyline.
Yeah, then they would have had to write it though.
Yeah, right. They went to all these, right. They went to all these contortions to keep her alive when it would have been much more impactful if they'd let her die right there.
All right. So this is a Twitter apology that somebody found from Rian Johnson. This is basically the only moment of him copying.
It's the first time he actually apologizes about The Last Jedi that I've seen. And he says, for me, The Last Jedi was 100% distills what the spirit and heart of Star Wars has been in my life. But yes, it's personal. It's a certain point of view, and it has to be. Originals were personal for George Lucas, and that's why they're alive. Star Wars films will truly betray the heart and spirit of the originals if they lose that and become soulless, clean homages. But being alive means being messy, and it means every film won't line up exactly what every fan is expecting or want. I'm sorry The Last Jedi didn't live up with your own certain point of view. Really, honestly, I am. May the Force be with you.
I heard that too, Dr. Steve. Homages. Homage. He said
we have them
homages
with gravy, don't you know?
Homages. The homage. Like, I am an homage to Tooke. I am not a homage.
Well, no offense to the guy that made that video, but I don't know how to read. Yeah. So anyway, that's Rian Johnson fucking up Star Wars entirely. Final thoughts.
Well, man, it's such an excuse. You can't you can't predict what people like. You can only make what you like. I think is what he's talking there, but that's really unacceptable when it comes to you have an established franchise. Like it really is. There's a template that you can just follow. That's why the first one of that trilogy worked so well, because it was just almost note for note repeat of the first one, and that's all they really had to do. I mean, I know they did. I wanted to see Rancor monsters fighting the Imperial Walkers. Like that's what I wanted out of this movie. And they put it in Boba Fett.
In Mandalorian, though.
Book of Boba Fett. They did it.
Book of Boba Fett.
Which is essentially an unofficial third season of The Mandalorian. He shows up, a third of the way through.
It sucks. We got to bring out the good Boba
Fett. Yeah. Should we talk about the new properties or whatever at this point?
Yeah,
that's what you got there. Okay.
Yeah, so I have my screen too has got all the things coming up. The TV.
Oh, you do. Oh,
let's see. Yeah, no, yours is fine, but
it's the same.
Okay.
No, it's not the same. There's mine's just a list. Yours is annotated.
All right. Yeah. So the Star Wars Starfighter, a standalone film starring Ryan Gosling.
Okay.
Set 5 years after the rise of Skywalker, and directed by Sean Levy, who is that?
Deadpool, the new Deadpool.
Yeah. Okay. I'm excited about that.
Okay. Yeah. So hopefully it brings that like that. I don't know if the spirit of that, we need, that's what they're missing, or what Poe Dameron was supposed to be, right? It was like the rogue, the Han Solo, like the new Han Solo of the
cocky
series. Right. So I think they're trying to, if my hope would be that Ryan Gosling emerges as kind of the new Han Solo-ish character.
Divine.
You better get your hopes up. Okay, so then
Space Ken.
Yeah. Boba Fett is enough.
Yeah.
So then we got Mandalorian and Grogu, theatrical movie featuring Dooku and Grogu.
Dooku.
That's not right.
I think they must mean what the Mandalorian's real or like actual name is, and that Dooku is not. That can't be right.
Jin Djarin or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Why do I not know that?
Fucking nonsense. But maybe it's a prequel with Count Dooku. I don't know. Maybe that's good. Who knows? And then Taika Waititi project, which he was great with Mandalorian, and I loved that the robot character they bookended that season 1 with. So anything that he does, I'll give a chance. Even though I loved What We Do in the Shadows, I didn't think Interior Chinatown was very good, but
I never saw it.
It's a new thing that he has.
Hunt for the Wilder People is good, and I liked the Thor movie that he did. Right, that
was one of the better ones.
And I liked him as Korg.
Yep.
Hello, made of rocks. It was great.
That Thor movie had like the comic part of it, like where it worked, and then they tried to force feed the comedy into the last one. You're like, nope, this isn't working anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
oh God, Love and Thunder is such a turd.
You know what's funny though? My wife loved that one.
Really?
Love and Thunder, because she's not a comic book fan.
Yeah.
People who weren't comic book fans, actually, she liked the little kid and the story and all that stuff.
She liked when they did the screaming goat bit for the 4th time.
I don't know.
And the villain is such a great villain in the comics, and he's good in the thing. But then they said, let's bring a bunch of kids in to save the day, multi-ethnic Asgardians to come in and save the day.
Yeah,
was that Christian Bale? Was that
Christian Bale? Yeah,
it was a good character. He did a good job.
Gore the God Destroyer was great in the comics.
He's doing a great job in a terrible movie.
James Mangold is doing Dawn of the Jedi. I think that could be great. It's Old Republic stuff.
Yeah.
Simon Kinberg is doing the trilogy. If they rein him in, maybe we'll be okay. But his X-Men stuff was spotty at best, and some of it was really bad. And he did the Phoenix Saga twice, and both times screwed it up.
There's no continuity in the X-Men universe. There's zero continuity. Nothing makes any sense with the other movies.
I thought that was fun.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know why
they'd go forward, 2 decades, and everybody'd still be 20 years old. And you'd just say, well, they're mutants.
Yeah, I don't know why they just constantly go back to the Phoenix thing. Well, with X-Men, when Andy and I constantly complain that they should be doing, especially the Mojo verse right now, with social media and everything that's happening, would be so much more relevant for them to dive into that.
Yeah,
and they've never done anything with the Brood. There's so many things that they could be doing.
Oh, Brood would be great. Oh,
I've had this conversation. I've been dreamcasting Mojo putting Cable, Deadpool, Wolverine, and Longshot into a Brood situation where it's just guns ablazing, action.
Starship Troopers. It could be Starship Troopers. Make that.
It's like X-Men versus aliens almost.
The X-Men always lost me when they were in outer space. I was like, what the fuck is happening with this comic book? I don't know. I never got it. And it's just tune into
Marvel cosmic stuff.
The stuff with the Shi'ar was cool because they did that. With the whole Phoenix Saga thing. But and of course, Professor X becoming the fucking king of the Shi'ar with the fucking Emperor.
Right.
This cripple guy is running everything now. I hope you guys are okay with that.
Yeah. I couldn't stand comics when it's just oh, okay, I had to read standalone Storm number 59 so that I can know what's happening in X-Men 62.
Well, we're running into this
standalone Cyclops number.
Yes,
crossover events.
We're running into this in some of these movies. You have to have watched
post-credits
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yes, post-credit scenes and Falcon and the Winter Soldier to have gotten Captain America Brave New World and stuff. And I didn't watch season 3 of The Mandalorian. Is that going to mess me up for this movie?
Even more criminally is the new Daredevil series that they have, where it's if you didn't watch Echo, you don't know what's happening with the Kingpin, nobody watched that shit.
Was that the case? I didn't get that.
I had no idea. I had to watch Echo.
I didn't either. Well, that makes sense.
Well, did you watch the Daredevil stuff at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
When they talk about how he went away and things like that, that's because
that was from Echo.
Echo shot him in the head. He was literally shot point blank in the head, basically, in that show.
I just figured I didn't remember something from the Daredevil series, but it was so many years ago.
Right, me too. And then Vanessa came back and all this stuff. So okay, got it.
And then they take
the Daredevil forgets where he left his Hawaiian shirt from Hawkeye.
And then they take the bank scene or episode with Daredevil where they're forcing Miss Marvel's dad into the show to cross over another Disney character property that I don't know is shit, really, that nobody really wants or cares about.
You guys saw the last episode of Daredevil from this current season? The part where he's talking about it's not giving anything away. It's not giving anything away. He's just talking about how New Yorkers will rise up against the Kingpin, and they start showing typical New Yorkers, and every single one of them is trans or gay or trans gay. I'm like, I live in New York. This is not what the fucking city looks like. So what are you talking about? Every single person.
It's fun if the Kingpin is
fight the Kingpin.
Yeah, if the Kingpin is defeated by the LGBTQIA community, I think that's kind of cool.
There really is some like Puerto Rican trans woman or whatever that they're interviewing and it's acting like she's tough or that she's gonna be influenced. And they show her again later on, it's in an early thing, they have because they had that BB Urich, whatever reporter talking to all the New Yorkers, And so they show her there, and then they show her at the end as if like she's part of the revolution that's going
Right.
with her. Like Tooke said, just like that person's not going to do shit. What are you talking about? They're fucking late on their prep medication.
Yeah, I'll be right there. I've got to talk. Hang on, I'm in the revolution. Give me a second.
Baby Urich, that's Ben Urich's daughter.
Ben Urich's daughter. Yeah,
Niece.
Niece. I'm sorry, niece. You're right, niece. Sorry, you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think we can all agree that this movie's unforgivable.
You know what's unforgivable is I was trying to at least like revisit it. I was so pissed off to even start watching this movie again.
Yeah.
And so this morning I was just fast forwarding to all the Rose Tico shit because that's what I was pulling. And I'm like, I just want to make sure that I'm remembering all the bullshit here. And my 6-year-old daughters have not seen any Star Wars yet. And one of them walks into the room and I'm watching the Rose shit. And she's like, this is cool. I want to watch more of this. I'm like, this is the worst part. This is your first experience cannot be this.
Your bad father is what I'm hearing.
No, it's my fault.
Let the kids have what they want. There's a lot of different ways to enter the Star Wars thing. There are some people that entered it watching the cartoons.
Skeleton
That's
Crew.
how they got into it.
Everybody, go watch Skeleton Crew. It's great.
God. Space Goonies.
Space Goonies. Yep.
All right. Well, Dr. Steve, thank you so much for spending your time here.
Sorry, I ruined your show.
No, long awaited.
Not at all. It was. I've been looking forward to this for years, maybe.
Yeah, me too. Not for real. No. Sorry, I bailed the first 2 times. So,
no, it's fine,
thank you for having me.
We can't overlook the fact that we're both going to be in Vegas next weekend for Hackamania.
Excellent. Can't wait.
Get your tickets for the virtual event if you can't attend in person, so you can see the very last episode of Weird Medicine featuring Lucy Tightbox, right?
Correct. Yep.
We're going to figure out what's wrong with her.
Yes.
3-part series.
Yeah, certainly gonna try.
Yeah. It'll take all weekend.
Oh, sorry.
It's gonna be the last Sirius XM show. I'm still gonna do, documentary style stuff, and I want to do sort of things like there's this guy Anton Petrov. You ever seen him? He does physics and cosmology. I like to do something like that.
Fun.
On medicine and science. So yeah, and do things like that. I love doing this and have to put on my doctor hat for 1 second in this, except to wonder, what's wrong with these fucking people. But making these diagnoses.
Are you a psychiatrist?
Other than that, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I love. I sat with Vinny when his punishment or consequence for the creep off was to watch The Last Jedi 4 times in a row.
I remember that.
And I sat with him for for 2 hours, and I said, "Dude, I got to tap out. I can't do this again."
I just watched like the last 20 minutes of Joker Fully Ado with Carl. This is torture. This is not fun for anybody.
I think that's a worse consequence, by the way.
Yeah,
yes,
stop putting these consequences on the wheel. It's not good for anyone.
Yeah, right.
And 2K, thank you for filling in for New Girl. Do you have anything that you would like to plug at this time?
Doing it'll be on by the time, but every Sunday movies with 2K on the Bobby Nick show on Rumble. You kind of just watch, random. We're watching Transformers from 1986 today, so looking forward to that.
Oh, the cartoon of Ali going to show up and ruin it?
Like the cartoon that ruined every kid's childhood. It's fantastic, and there's no shaky cam fighting, which makes me very happy. So we're going to do that. But that's every Sunday. We go back up between truly terrible movies to movies we kind of like, but we're still going to goof on. So that's every Sunday on the Bobby Nick Show on Rumble at 6:00. And No Filter and Lunatic Lounge are on pretty much every goddamn night of the week. I'm doing something. God, I'm exhausted. But New Girl and I will pop up doing stuff here. We have our new K movie date show that we've been doing lately, which is randomly shows up, usually on Rock Talk Live's channel on Rumble as well, or Cut the Gym Uncensored, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
So just look those up, have fun with it. Also at 2K Puppet on Twitter, I post everything there. So
that's what I was just going to suggest. Follow 2K Puppet on Twitter to know everything that's happening over there.
Yeah.
And yeah, follow us on Instagram so you can see what's going on with our episodes that are popping up on YouTube. Please follow us on YouTube. Consider subscribing to our Patreon. We're gonna pop over there, and we're getting very close to finishing all the conversation about Mission Impossible. We're going to talk about Fallout,
the best one.
Yeah, possibly the best one. After we claimed that Rogue Nation was the worst one, Fallout might be the best. So follow us on Patreon to hear our thoughts about that. And we're getting very close to pivoting into Owen Cook territory, guys. Tooke and Dr. Steve. Owen Cook is this motivational speak. He's kind of a Bobo Tony Robbins that's tricking incels into giving him money for confidence building and pickup artist type of scam shit. And he's a clown, and I can't wait to shit all over him. So,
that sounds like fun.
Yay! Yeah. But it's probably going to become one of our bigger.
So, yeah, only to drive that point home a little bit, there is like literally a 5-hour seminar recorded on YouTube that Owen Cook delivers to a bunch of friendless losers, and we're going to dissect that piece by piece over on Patreon.
Nice.
Sweet.
So check out Patreon, check out Hackamania Live, check out WATP Live in Boston coming up June 21st. I think it's dabblecon.live is where you can get tickets for that. I could be wrong, but that's coming up. So thank you for Dr. Steve, for 2K, for Fat Edsy, and Joe Sixpack. I'm Trucker Andy saying,
stay sorry.
Congratulations, you've unlocked the All Apologies Patreon content for this week, Joe.
Yeah.
Without hesitation, I want to bring back our fantastic guests that we have this week. It's Dr. Steve finally made it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and New Girl is back. Oh, I mean, 2K.
I'm so pretty.
It's like you searching Pornhub and finding it's not even Sesame Street, it's Avenue Q. It's like this is not what I'm signing up for.
And like True Americans, I thought she was British, but I guess she's French. I don't know the difference because I'm an American.
Accent, schmaccent, all the same thing.
And we just had an awesome conversation. Most people watch this. People that are subscribed to Patreon get the content first, so they're going to get this before they get the Wednesday episode where we discussed Last Jedi and how shitty Rian Johnson. I didn't even bring up any of his other movies, like how bad the Knives Out shit was, and
very successful though.
Yeah, it's successful, but I like a good mystery. And if you watch Poker Face too, which is
second season coming back.
Yeah, and I like it, but all of his mystery stuff is just like solving it is secondary.
Right, it's genre bending again.
In a bad way. Exactly. I like to be whatever outsmarted or figure or feel like I figured it out, and it just takes all that away from you.
Yeah.
And I hate the way he spells his name.
Right.
It annoys me.
That's his mom's fault, but still. He
like
could have
Lucy
changed it.
Tightbox, Lucy Tightbox's name. When I was getting her number, I was like, all right, now how do you spell Kaylee? And she's spelling it. I was like, no, that's not wrong. I was like, how do you spell your last name? No, wrong. You guys love to feel special with your cute little spellings of your dumb little names. But Dr. Steve is being generous with his time and has to run over and do his show shortly. So as we talk about the Mission Impossible installment of Fallout, this is part 6, right? And we just did Rogue Nation, and Husey was calling me out on Twitter for saying that it was the worst one. It's so convoluted to follow. That,
it's like Quantum of Solace was.
Yeah, good point. We did make that connection that it's like you have no idea what the plot of that movie is. Just like most James Bond movies, you identify with who the villain is, and they do have a good villain in that. They bring him back in this, but he's almost unrecognizable, right? I didn't realize when they introduced that character back in that it was the same guy from Rogue Nation until they started explaining that it was, and it was
just for clarification, because these movies tend to run together for me. Like I get the mixed up. Is Rogue Nation the one where they introduced Jeremy Renner, or is that the one before?
That's the one before. Ghost Protocol.
Rogue Nation is where they introduce Elsa,
Juliet, right? Or Elsa, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
That's the whole.
She's Juliet in Silo. Sorry, so I got confused.
Yeah, Rogue Nation is all about Rebecca Ferguson, basically.
Right, gotcha.
Like the whole that's the crux of the whole movie is like her trying to get out, being a double agent, her relationship with Ethan Hunt. That's Rogue Nation, and if not for Rebecca Ferguson, the movie would be terrible. She pretty much carries that whole movie, which is why they brought her back in this one, I think, as well. The next one. But let's back up, and we're talk more about the marketing campaign leading up to this movie. They really honed in on Tom Cruise doing his own stunts. Like in Rogue Nation, they strapped him to an airplane while it was taking off on the outside of it, and in this one, he's doing a halo jump, right? And so they make a whole teaser trailer of just strictly the stunt of the halo jump and what it took to do it. And so that's what I thought we'd kind of take a look at here before we dive into the entire movie, because it seemed like a little kind of canned thing that we could do with Dr. Steve here. Andy, do you have who's running the YouTube thing?
I have it. Yep.
You do. Do you have the timestamps here?
I think you just call out. Just say when you want to pause it.
You know what? It's every 30 seconds. So if you just watch it and it's just find a natural stop it every 30 seconds is basically how it works.
Halo jump is a sequence Tom and I have been talking about for a number of years.
Tom will be the first actor to do a halo jump on camera.
Halo jump is high altitude, low open.
Military jump out 25,000 feet.
Opening a chute below 2,000 feet.
And sneak into a foreign country without being detected. That's the idea of Halo.
There's a lot of risks in going to 25,000 feet.
The audience can tell when something's been cheated, so it's important to be doing it all for real.
That's good. Stop right there. So, yeah, this is the... and Dr. Steve probably has it. We've been talking about this and Tooke. I consider Tom Cruise to kind of be the last big movie star. It used to be like who can open a movie, who's bankable, who are we paying $20 million? That's not really the price tag anymore. But it used to be like a leading man was paid $20 million, and they get paid that because they're going to open a movie. And Tom Cruise just continues to push the envelope, even down to the Maverick franchise, where like it's now it's more about who Tom Cruise is, not just Mission Impossible, but like doing his own stunts and things like that. And so he's always pushing the envelope, and it's just like now here he is, and they're gonna, he's doing a halo jump himself.
I might argue, Joe, I might bring up the Chris Hemsworth Extraction 2 as, I mean, not that Extraction 2 was a big blockbuster in theater movie, but it's a fucking awesome movie that I would go see a Chris Hemsworth movie, Extraction 3, based on the strength of Extraction 2.
The only current actor I can think of that might draw like big box office was The Rock. It's the only guy I can think currently that might. I mean, but even then, like I think it depends on what the movie is. Like, people are like, hey, okay.
Oh God, have you ever seen Skyscraper?
Oh. He uses his fake leg for everything.
Yeah.
His
army leg.
The thing I don't. It's true. The thing I don't like
Skyscraper, where they don't jump off the building at the end. It's just some fucking Hall of Mirrors dumb shit at the end. Oh my God.
Not good.
The thing I don't like about the Rock movies is like he's treated like a leading man, but he's like asexual too. Like any romance with him is like when they tried to do it with what was it, Red Notice or whatever that with Gal Gadot. It's just so awkward. Like him being romantic with anybody is like weird.
Yeah, you can't have Schwarzenegger making out with a woman. It just looks like a monster eating. It looks like a King Kong movie.
I'm going to impregnate you now. It's weird and creepy.
Yeah. Be like having a love story with Drax. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah, all right, do we want to find out more about the Halo jump here?
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I have mad respect for Tom Cruise that he does this. It's an insurance company nightmare. I can't imagine.
I think the one thing I wanted to bring up with this is, like we talked about, kind of how the directors. So Christopher McQuarrie, you'll see him talking here. The director, a lot of things coming back in a lot of ways. Like the product, it's still Bad Robot because JJ did 3. So Bad Robot is still producing, but Alibaba is one of the production companies with this. And Alibaba, for people who don't know, is Chinese Amazon.
Right.
So like in the last, or like, so they go to Dubai and then they keep going. They're like globe trotting around the world with these things and like building more in the real world, a global franchise or whatever. But now it's even to the point where they're using Chinese funding. And like, there's always, like with the Maverick thing, they had to like change one of the flags on his jacket because it was like Taiwan, Taiwanese flag, and they had to get rid of that because China wouldn't show it or with that in there. But so it's just
I'm
this
sorry
will
not
becoming
to
a
interrupt you,
global
not to interrupt
franchise.
you, but the fact that Chinese Amazon is Alibaba, it's like American
It's very cynical.
Silk Road. And, like, why do we have
Nothing
to?
for real.
Everybody's company needs to be racist to another country. All right, let's. I don't know. I guess maybe this is too complicated for a normal viewer to understand the stakes of this. Like, I found the motorcycle chase, like him not wearing a helmet during the motorcycle chase, to be far more harrowing than this. But
Andy's mother was clutching her pearls. You need to wear a
he's
helmet.
running with scissors.
Hypoxia and the bends, you start losing your mind, but you don't realize it.
We had to develop a special helmet that is both a prop and a life-saving device. The first phase of the Halo sequence was building a wind machine that was large enough for us to be able to.
How much did that cost?
We built one of the world's largest wind tunnels. No one thought it would require over 100 jumps to get the scene.
We needed the UAE. Had they not stepped in, we would not have been able to accomplish the sequence.
We've been doing.
So what I find ridiculous about this is they're like, we had to construct this entire wind machine or whatever. I'm like, that's like in Ocean's 11, where the whole way they pull off the thing is with an EMP machine. And when they steal the EMP, you see nothing. You like, I don't know if anybody remembers this movie, but it was always my least favorite part, was that stealing that EMP would have been a bigger challenge than breaking into the casino that they were doing at the end. And they just skip right over it and walk off with an EMP. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, we're going to make this movie. We have to construct a whole wind tunnel around it. It's like, how much of the budget was this? Yeah. Are we ever going to use it again? Like, what are we doing? Like when Matrix had to do they had to construct the whole
the highway.
The highway for Matrix 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
just put a green screen behind that dumb thing and shoot it that way.
Not Tom Cruise's
launching him into outer space,
out the window.
All right.
5 jumps a day out of the Twin Otter. In the afternoons, we'll do 3 C-17 jumps, and it's challenging.
Wow. It's still cool, though.
It is.
Sorry. But they do market these movies based on what Tom Cruise, what stunt he's doing in that particular movie.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the only thing I remembered about Rogue Nation was where he's hanging off the airplane in the beginning. And everything else, when I watched it last week, I didn't remember a damn thing about it except that Rebecca Ferguson is hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to that point too, and I would say this is very cool, a great stunt and everything, but these showcase pieces are not almost like they're not even the best part of these movies. The strapping him to the plane is like the first scene of the movie, and then you move on to a very boring movie. This happens, but this isn't even the coolest part of this movie either. I mean, it's very cool sequence, but there's cooler sequences in this movie.
Yeah,
That's just the way they set this up.
It's just for the clicks, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see Rebecca Ferguson at her hottest, and sans clothing, watch the show The White Queen. It was on Stars, but you can get it on. She was I can't remember which queen. I used to know my medieval history. It doesn't matter, but Catherine of Aragon or somebody, I can't remember, one of the Elizabeths, but yeah, she's very hot in that. But anyway, sorry, I got distracted.
Oh, that's good information that I want to have.
Yeah.
Joe's
yeah.
Hey, back to the guy
So
from Midnight
there's a
Oil.
nice there's a nice bathing scene in that.
After 3 minutes every day to get the shot. You can't just get on the plane and go. You have to spend 20 minutes on the ground breathing pure oxygen.
Yeah, just to take off and be in the air. You can't just get on and jump out.
That you don't. 25,000 feet.
That's a Joe Biden stunt. walking down a ramp.
Yeah. Yeah, he needed a stunt double to deboard.
All of the lighting turns from white to red. You're talking about Tom jumping out of a plane that's traveling at 165 miles an hour.
I thought planes went faster than that.
Falling at 200 miles an hour. And he's to position himself so that he lands exactly 3 feet away from the camera with
being the fucking cameraman. That guy, that's the real hero of this.
Correct.
That guy is dope.
20,000 feet beneath him. The risk of a midair collision, we were really concerned about.
There's always a ticking clock in filming a movie, but it's not usually the Earth flying up towards you.
In that cutscene, the cameraman's cock hits him in the butt. They out of the final edit.
To your point, though, pause real quick. And why were we talked about Alex Hardgold or whatever his name is, the free solo guy climbing the mountain or whatever.
Mhm.
But like to your point, like I'm like, yeah, the guy with the camera is the one I'm really impressed with in like the free solo movie. Like this shit is insane.
I mean, free solo ended up they did climb and install cameras on the route that he took, but for the most part, it was just drones following him around. Do you remember? Did you watch it?
Oh yeah.
Because in the end, he's just like, I can't have people like up my ass while I'm trying to do this without a net. And they just had whisper drones, like, and cameras shooting it from like, hundreds of yards away, so that he wouldn't be disturbed by it. It was a little disappointing, to be honest. I mean, it's impressive as fuck, but the actual footage of him doing it legit is disappointing. But
yeah,
my opinion on free solo.
Yeah.
Free opinion.
Nice one. Oh, I can't wait for an audience to see this. I still can't believe we got it.
You know what I think?
Unnecessary to do this. They could have
right.
Had a stunt double do it and put his face on him and all that stuff. So it's kind of cool. I mean,
that's funny. I didn't even think about that, Dr. Steve. It is just like a stupid way for them to get into a building, like in Ghost Protocol. Like they imitate a Russian general to get into the Kremlin or something. It's just like it could have been that. They could have just come up with something much less expensive than to just do this masturbatory stunt. But,
well, Henry Cavill's in this movie, and before I go, I did want to say that this movie is one of the reasons why Joss Whedon's version of Justice League sucked so bad. Because apparently, Cavill's character has a mustache. There it is.
Right.
And it took him a while to grow it. So when they called him back for reshoots for Justice League, they had to CGI out the mustache, and it looks like shit. I was trying to bring up a picture of a Superman, in the Joss Whedon sections, and my keyboard died. But if you find one, I mean, it's just it's criminal. It doesn't even look like the same guy.
Wow. Well, they were saying something similar with the new James Gunn Superman, where the guy playing that version of Superman was in Twisters, as like the kind of bad doctor, alternate dude. And it's like in the beginning he comes in and he's kind of like this pencily, one guy, and then halfway through the movie he comes in and
he's all jacked up.
It's Superman out, and they're like, "What the fuck happened here?"
That's funny. Now I got to watch Twisters.
Yeah.
He goes from Clark Kent to Superman and Twisters.
Yeah. But this movie is famous for ruining, or partially ruining. I mean, there are lots of other reasons why the Joss Whedon version sucked. Love the Zack Snyder version.
Yeah, I'll say Justified because this movie is tremendously better than those movies.
Yeah,
Agreed. Although I have to say, I wasn't a big fan of the Zack Snyder version either. I felt like I watched Zack Snyder jerk himself off for 4 hours when I watched that movie.
Loved it. Listen, I grew up with these characters. I know it's off topic, but I grew up with these characters, and seeing somebody do a serious version of the Justice League with Darkseid and all that stuff, and the anti-life equation, and and when Zack Snyder directs a Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, she's sort of a force of nature. When Patty does it, it's a different character, but I loved every minute of it. 4 hours, I could have sat through another 2 hours.
I like the Snyder cut way more. Like the Joss Whedon version was so bad. I think I fell asleep in the theater. It was really bad, but the Snyder cut that was much longer, and they treat Cyborg way better in that version. It was, you could understand that actor, and like he was kind of like outspokenly outraged at the way the character got treated in the Joss Whedon version, and justifiably after you see the Snyder cut. It's a much better movie that way. So
I think by the third character walking in slow motion toward the camera while music plays, I would never fucking listen to in my entire life. But I was like, I get it. I see what we're doing with each character. We don't have to do this with every single character.
It wasn't perfect, but I still loved it.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
I want to
thank Dr. Scott,
Dr. Steve.
at my door.
I know you have things to do, and I'm glad that you were able to make time for us.
Yeah,
today.
thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Dr. Steve.
Thank you
I'll
for
see you next week.
letting me talk about Star Wars and Zack Snyder and stuff. Fournier gangrene and all that stuff. And say fluid once, which is awesome.
Okay, well, there you go.
You got
it. Nice to meet you, Dr. Steve.
Good meeting you too. Take care.
All right.
Take care.
You guys at Hackamania.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Yeah.
I love that sound.
All right.
I didn't get to ask him about the plastic in my balls, but I'll save that for next week.
Hackamania. Better in person. You can actually let him feel it if he needs to.
Yeah. Can we rearrange this so that it's making my shaft longer instead of just floating around my nutsack? All right.
Where do you want to go from here? Do you want to do we'll do the trailer first and kind of cut it up a little bit?
Okay.
All right. Do you have that as well?
I do.
This is the same. It's just pretty much 30 seconds at a time here.
Your mission. Should you choose to accept it?
That sounds like Star Wars.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so we're getting the voiceover of Solomon Lane, who is the villain from Rogue Nation, and they made him look so different that I didn't even know. In Rogue Nation, he's got a short blonde, very Aryan-looking haircut with Nazi Raiders of the Lost Ark glasses. It's a distinct look, and then they reveal the guy, and I think it's 2 years after the Rogue Nation came out. I was like, I have no idea who this character is, but maybe I'm an idiot. But
I'm looking at how far apart these movies are real quick in time. And I just opened IMDb to look this up, and I found that they're doing a Now You See Me third one, but it is called Now You See Me, Now You Don't. So they finally got that right, which is just the stupidest shit that ever happened. But let's see here. Mission Impossible, Fallout versus...
You can look that up.
Are we kidding?
The end you always feared is coming. And the blood will be on your hands.
Oh, it's that guy. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, right. And we made him look totally different. It's 3 years in between these movies. So for them, it's very arrogant in the writing, I would say, for you to think that I'm going to remember who that guy is, because he's
They
like
haven't
not
they haven't
being
done
appropriate.
anything like that yet in this movie. They've brought back Simon Pegg and Jeremy Renner, and now they're bringing back Rebecca Ferguson. So there are these reoccurring allies, but they haven't done a reoccurring villain. So,
Right.
So
I did
find it a bit confusing.
Let's just do some stills in between the trailer clips here as we go through. Pull up my still one there of the team is back. So we have Tom Cruise, like you said, Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson is back, and Ving Rhames again. And if we could just go over to my still
Alec
two here.
Baldwin is back. Eric Baldwin.
Could somebody please check on Ving Rhames?
What, Joe?
There should have been. There was multiple folders. It says a close up of Ving Rhames. You don't have. It doesn't look like you have all my shit here.
No, I don't. I the next one I have is numbered 4, so it's just
Okay. Hang on. Let me. I'll bring it up.
Oh, sure. We leave the black guy out. I see what's
Andy, thanks a lot, Andy.
He gets killed in the first 10 minutes.
I'm getting too old for this explosion.
Shit. Getting too old for these impossible missions.
Well, never mind. If you look at that that image again, that team image. What is fucking going on with Ving Rhames? Ving Rhames' head is like blowing up like a balloon. Like his head gets bigger for every movie he's in, he gets twice as big. Somebody please check on Ving Rhames. He needs a welfare.
He's in the background. If you're in the background like that, you should be considerably smaller than Tom Cruise. But he's smaller than Tom Cruise.
He is the background.
Yeah.
You're going to be playing the background of this one, Ving.
Yeah. Could you move further back, Ving? Okay, further back.
Yeah. Look at what they got Simon Pegg wearing in this. He's got a bow tie. And
it's very. A lot of the times in this movie specifically, a lot of exposition is done going back and forth between Ving Rhames butchering the English language and Simon Pegg like being a very sophisticated British man. And so you get like these two different deliveries of the plot at the same time. It's very weird.
God bless him. I love giving Simon Pegg more to do in the movies. That's a good thing. So
yeah.
I love that they made him Scotty in the Star Trek movie. So that was awesome.
Yeah,
it was perfect.
And I guess that's probably J.J. Abrams just kind of having a stable of people that he enjoys working with.
I don't know
all his productions, which again, it's like you can't go wrong putting Simon Pegg in anything.
I can't not bring this up again because it was too funny. New Girl had not seen JJ, like she didn't know what JJ Abrams looked like, and we played an interview with him, and she goes, "What's wrong with his nose?" And I was just like, you can't say that. All right, well, let's go to the next part of the trailer here as we get more about what's happening in this movie. Cool music.
A terrible choice to make in Berlin. One life over millions. And now the world is at risk.
This is the CIA's mission. If he had held on to the plutonium, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
This team would be dead.
Yes, they would. That's the job.
Pause. So there we get to see Alec Baldwin is back. A lot of returning. The movie is like really hitting its stride in many ways at this point.
2 episodes from the franchise being over.
Yeah, well,
it's finally getting good.
Well, You know, a lot of reoccurring characters as far as Simon Pegg has been in it for a lot at this point. Ving Rhames obviously in every one, even though he's like forced into I think Ghost Protocol at the end just for formality's sake. Rebecca Ferguson coming back, Alec Baldwin coming back, Christopher McQuarrie coming back as the director. I really do think that Christopher McQuarrie coming on and then him coming back, this is the first time they have a director come back. And I really think they looked at Rogue Nation and they're like, we have to fucking fix this. Like Rogue Nation was like not up to snuff, really. And they deliver.
Yes, it's just plot wise confusing. That's it. Not a movie hasn't been that confusing since the first one. You know,
convoluted. I think is a term.
Yeah, convoluted. But even like the swimming fucking sequence that I said was so boring. A lot of like it just fell flat. This movie never falls flat. And even to the point where Andy was starting to rewatch it, I go, there is like legitimately a 20-minute, it is all of 20-minute sequence, the motorcycle chase and the BMW chase. There's like a Wild West kind of like gunslinger part in the middle, the whole Simon Lane, is that it? Solomon Lane extraction sequence is 20 minutes long and it's impressive.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get some of that here.
Yeah. That hat barely fits.
Fucking lyrics. Get out of here with this shit. Your hippity hops. Shun Po.
I need to walk away. How many times?
You know, we're real scared. I wish you would go through me.
They're the same height. It's possible.
Yeah. Oh, funny you mentioned that. Should we bring up the other slide? Hey, Joe, you included this.
Oh yeah, Return of the Ferg. So Rebecca Ferguson is back, obviously.
How many apple boxes is Tom Cruise standing on in this?
His De Niro shoes.
Right. And that sequence is cool. Like that's where I guess we could even show. Oh no, let's keep watching.
Oh, where the assassins are going after. Kirby. What's her name?
Yep, Vanessa Kirby. Yeah, you can bring those pictures up too if you want. We'll see them in a minute, or we can just keep playing the trailer. Either or.
Oh, you mean this one?
Yeah. That's Vanessa Kirby in Jupiter Ascending, a movie you should not go find just because of this.
No, not worth it for this.
Yeah, this doesn't make it worth
Find
it.
Find it online.
Where's the other one? Because Vanessa Kirby is Sue Storm. Right.
Wasn't she in that other movie with Tom Cruise, the one with the time keeps repeating itself over and over again with the aliens?
Oh, that's
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt. Oh, that's right. You're right. It's Emily Blunt. Okay.
But she should have been Sue Storm too, though. She was supposed to be Sue Storm with John Krasinski.
That's why it screwed me up.
Yeah. But so Vanessa Kirby here. Now Vanessa Kirby is a person where I'm just like, I don't think she's that hot. But then you watch other movies like Hobbs and Shaw. I'm like, oh, she is hot in this. You know, and she's hot when she's stabbing some guy with a butterfly knife in this movie.
Another awkward The Rock love interest, by the way.
Yeah, right. It's just like nobody can love this man. Hugging a boulder.
How long before a man like that has had enough?
Yeah, it's hilarious too.
You're saying
why like the mustache, like Dr. Steve was bringing up Henry Cavill's mustache and how problematic that was for Justice League and shit like that. He doesn't have to have a mustache. It's just like insisting the man has a mustache is like an odd choice. I don't know if that's like ego Tom Cruise being like, well, we can't have two dark-haired heroes in this movie.
It's 100% that he couldn't wear glasses, so they had to have something to hide him from being Superman.
Oh,
that was
in
so people wouldn't think
that hit really, really hard. Wow,
in Mission Impossible.
But they have. I mean, you could put a fake mustache on him for the movie.
I mean, look at Tooke.
Yeah, it would be hilarious if Henry Cavill had 2K's mustache.
This is Velcro. It's easy.
Yeah. But
So,
we have to hamstring 2 multi-million-dollar projects.
Yeah, that sequence is great, man.
That's not who we are.
This
I
fight
watched
scene is great.
I watched that fight scene twice. I rewound it and watched it back to back 2 times. It's awesome. This guy, the heavy in this scene, needs his own movie.
Yeah.
It's ass.
Yeah, this bathroom scene has everything. It has implied gay sex in a stall, implied cocaine use in the stall.
Yeah, implied hemophilia.
Yeah.
And that was so great.
What is this bathroom made out of? Paper mache?
All right, maybe we should, because we're going through the trailer here, maybe we should talk about the tropes, right? So 2K, the one thing that we keep talking about is who is the hottest woman in the Mission Impossible franchise. So it's obvious, like Tandy Newton. For me, I'm like whatever's in front of me is the best one. That is kind of what happens. That's how you get laid. Is like, this is the hottest woman I've ever met. So Tandy Newton, and then Paula Patton in Ghost Protocol. And yeah, Rebecca Ferguson is hot. I don't know if she's the hottest, but she's definitely hot here. But she's always dressed up. Like in this, she's in business suits and stuff. She's not supposed to be.
She's not showing herself off. Even the most recent one, the woman that played Agent Carter in the Marvel movies is super. She's how can I put this? Very racky. If you see her in the right outfit, very attractive woman.
Yeah. So we get that. I mean, Vanessa Kirby would be the new entry in here. She's definitely not the hottest in this series, so we're not getting like super hotness here. But that's the conversation we always have.
What?
I don't know. This is her much younger, also, and like that's like the best like picture that I could find from her. I don't know. She doesn't do a ton for me. But
I don't. My problem is I don't remember anybody's name, especially the more obscure people. But I thought Jim's wife in the first one was really in the top 3, and then the villain that gets kicked out the window in Dubai, the blonde.
Sabine
She
Moreau.
was really hot, and then I still think the record store girl from Rogue Nation was really hot. Hermione Cosgrove, or the most English name you could possibly fabricate. But
that's like saying the one of the women in the nightclub that they walk past is the hottest woman in the franchise.
Right.
It's like she's barely in the movie.
Facts are facts. Don't fucking argue with me. All right.
Do you want to do the thing or like the broken ankle? Because the other trope is the Tom Cruise running. And this is exceptional Tom Cruise running in this movie. I had actually forgotten all about it. And so I'm like, I don't remember him running a lot in this, but I'm completely wrong. It's like a huge set piece in this movie.
See the speed and the momentum of the
Sorry, hang on. I didn't think he was gonna. Okay, so this is Graham Norton. The whole cast is appearing on Graham Norton, and they're going to walk you through the injury here. He is trying to. It's a foot chase. He's trying to catch up with Henry Cavill's John Lark character by rooftop. So he's literally jumping from building to building.
Parkour.
Yeah.
The French, of course, you know the French sword hardcore.
And that leads to this.
See the speed and the momentum of the run, and it's in London. There we go.
So it's keeping the
okay. So here he goes. Look at that. Whoa and whoa.
Oh Jesus!
It's good noise, everybody. But you get my point that you think, how did you break a leg? So let's look at it from the side.
Yeah, it looks like it would cave your chest in.
Oh yeah, I mean, he must have been wearing a pad on his chest to actually do that. You know, it's like impressive.
Yeah,
but yeah, you would think that would be hard. He obviously was wearing a catcher's vest or something like that.
Something.
Yeah. From the side, here we go.
We shot it with 3 cameras.
Okay, here he goes, and boom!
Oh, so he goes leg first into the wall, huh?
Yeah.
Foot. Now, if you are squeamish, don't want this.
It still hasn't seen it. He tried to show it to me, and I'm like, no.
Simon Pegg's like, oh, it's my screensaver.
For anyone's
Honey, let's watch this again.
What's that?
Oh, I can imagine with his wife. This is okay, honey. Come in, let's watch this again. Tom breaks his leg. Fantastic.
Putting it on.
Yeah, everybody that hates Tom Cruise is watching this over and over again. Look at Henry Cavill is like, yeah, let's watch it over and over
Still
again.
got the mustache.
Oh my god! So he takes that speed, that momentum. Here we go.
Look at.
And now watch that. Watch this.
She goes, show it again. Spaghetti foot Cruise. Jesus.
Here's the audio of him screaming out loud in pain.
Here is why Tom Cruise gets paid the big bucks, okay? Because this is it from the front angle, okay? So you've just seen what's happened to his foot.
I knew I broke it instantly.
So you're down. Now, anyone else would go, well, that's over. No. Up he gets, and he's running.
Oh, Jesus. That is why. That's more impressive than the fucking Halo jump.
It really is.
Yeah. Hang on.
No, I didn't want to do it again. I knew instantly it was broken, and I just run past camera. We got the shot. It's in the movie. That profile shot, both those shots are in the movie.
Yeah. Him running up, climbing up and running out of frame on a broken ankle is in the movie.
So wait, okay. You know, this is not. When did he yell at everybody? Like we had the recording of him pissed off, yelling at everyone during COVID.
I remember that.
Well, this came out. This came out in 2018, so it can't be that. It must have been for Maverick. That must have been for Maverick.
No. Maybe it was Rogue Nation then.
No, because Rogue Nation is COVID is 2020. You know, COVID-19. So this came out in 2018, which means it was after that. So hang on 1 second.
I do remember a video of him yelling at a group of people on the set. I'm not sure
whatever he was shooting between 2020 and 2020.
Whatever was coming out in 2021, 2022 would have been what was being shot when he was yelling at everybody. And I'm assuming it's Maverick. Top Gun Maverick 2022.
All right.
It must be that. It must be that, like a 2-year production, right? Because
people are jerk offs.
No, but point being, like Tom Cruise is like yelling at everybody about the production of just like, this is people's jobs on the line. Like we're not going to get shut down because you can't wear a fucking mask, right? That's what he's yelling at everybody. He's just like, we demand like all of these regulations because people's livelihood is on the line here. But what we see here is like how he walks that walk. Even like usually you hear like Christian Bale yelling at a guy for walking through the scene in the Terminator fucking movie, you know, that whole fucking blow up that occurred for that, right? And it's just like, oh, this guy's just fucking mad about his, you know, process or whatever of like him trying to be in the moment. Tom Cruise is like, I'm gonna fucking kill anybody who fucks this up for me. Meanwhile, he fucking breaks a leg and carries on to get the shot. You know, it's just like that guy is like living what he's preaching, you know, like him or not, you know, it's just like Still, always tremendous respect for Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah,
I guess
I love
the
Tom
question.
Cruise movies.
That's what I was just going to say. Do you enjoy these movies, 2K?
Yeah, there aren't many bad. I sit there, like, granted, he's a bit of a loon, but you watch these movies, like, these are everything he comes out with. I'm like, I really enjoy it. Even stuff that people I hated, like The Mummy. I had fun. I had fun watching The Mummy. I think it was a great movie. No, but I had fun with it. It was
yeah. I'll have to watch it. I'll watch it again.
Yeah, there's very few where you're just like, well, that was like Oblivion. It's like that. Well, that was kind of not something I would ever rewatch.
Yeah.
But there's very few though. Edge of Tomorrow, great movie.
Yeah, I love Edge of Tomorrow. And is are they coming out with another one? Isn't they supposedly doing another one now?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. No, it's
the other Edge of Tomorrow.
The fire past the ice wall.
Yeah.
It's a flat Earth bullshit movie.
Amazing.
There's 2 more edges after this one on a flat Earth.
Yeah, that.
So, how is he?
Oh yeah, she comes back.
Why are you so disappointed?
Dr. Girlfriend.
They're always trying to hide the size of Ving's head under a hat.
Yeah, that's an extra large hat.
That might have been the picture I was looking for.
Fucking shit on Michelle Monaghan, asshole.
I wasn't. I was only just like they're bringing it back. They're bringing all these people back for it because it is. They didn't leave anything out of this movie. As far it is. It's nonstop, and it all makes to credit to like when we were talking about Rogue Nation, how none of it makes sense really or whatever. We don't know what the fuck's going on. They painstakingly make sure that you understand what's going on in like a real way. Like, there's plutonium. They're trying to get the plutonium in the beginning. They lose the plutonium. Then they got to get Solomon Lane to get, to trade for the plutonium. And it all makes like sense. And they make sure that you know what's happening throughout the whole movie.
Just to touch on one of the other tropes, one of the better things is that when we 2K, we always have to bring up the mask work. And you get Simon Pegg as Wolf Blitzer.
That's amazing. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Looking at this freeze frame, though, you could easily think that this is a movie about a special needs black man being befriended by a kindly white woman.
The Blind Side.
Yes.
Yeah, right. It's Dangerous Minds meets radio.
That's perfect. That's perfect. It's a perfect description.
This is more impressive than the fucking Halo jump to me.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
that Halo jump thing is so. Despite all of the painstaking training and the construction of a oxygen mask special, it's like
the 100 jumps. They seem to say they did 100 jumps. Jesus Christ!
Yeah. What a waste
they only had like 3 minutes a day to get the shot too, right? I think they said that, right? Or that they could do all the training and jumping and practicing and everything, but when they were actually trying to shoot it, it was always like at the golden hour, whatever. So like them getting, I don't know how many times how many attempts they strung together to actually get it, but yeah, they talked about how limited the time frame was to actually achieve that.
Wow.
And it's like, to what end? It becomes like is the juice worth the squeeze? Because this movie would be awesome without that sequence.
Yeah. Broken ankle, right in the trailer.
Oh my God. Time for us to see it. That's great. The motorcycle scene is great.
Yeah. That when he's driving the wrong way in the roundabout on the motorcycle without the choreography of the traffic that they had to arrange so that he doesn't just drive headlong into a vehicle with no helmet on. I've talked about other sequences, the drowning sequence in Rogue Nation, the building climb in Ghost Protocol, where I get nervous for Tom Cruise. That motorcycle ride part, there's a lot of margin for error, like ways that can go wrong, and suddenly Tom Cruise is no longer with us.
The top of his head is missing.
Yeah, when I was watching that, I really was kind of like looking at the cuts and like what actually, because he is on the bike a lot, and I remember one of the behind the scenes things that you got was like one of these motorcycle things where it's just like you're like, ooh, we got like a man on the scene who's got his phone out and he's filming the sequence, and we're gonna see a little bit of what they're doing for Fallout, and really it's just like him like going about 30 miles an hour and then just like braking in front of the camera and like nothing even fucking happens. So it's like I'm watching that sequence and it's just like, okay, he weaves in between these two cars and I'm like, what was the shutter speed on it? Like how, like he makes like one move and it's a cut, right? And it's just like how many of those did they do to like stitch this whole thing together? And it's like we did it at half speed and then sped it up or something like that. But it's super impressive. I mean, it's so well done. This movie, everything in this movie is really well done. Okay. This shit.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it's the best one. Like any like they always step it up. They like paid attention to any criticism that there might have been. Yeah, that bar fight scene with the butterfly knife with Vanessa Kirby just like stabs this dude like square in the fucking chest like in that sequence. It's like it's great. It's a good movie.
This is the movie that made me go out and buy the box set. The box set that was out to that point. It's like, you know,
yeah.
I want to own these fucking. I love these movies. I want to own. They're all great. I even like like Rogue Nation. Even though it gets a little convoluted, I still love all these movies. It's so well done. The stunts are great. The action's fantastic. So just so I was like, you know, I'm one of those people who still likes to have physical media. People look at me like, boomer, screw you.
No, you're 100% right because I was watching. God, you know, it was when Val Kilmer died, and so I went to watch Tombstone on Hulu, and that it just keeps dipping in and out of video quality wise, where it goes like blurry and then back to crisp, clean look. But yeah, so people don't even understand the value of physical media at this point. You know, the convenience of getting it is more important than the look of it. But
I hate that too when Halloween rolls around and you get it in your head that you want to watch all of the Friday the 13th, and they're all on there except for the fourth one with the most hits. Corey Feldman is like the only one I want to watch, and you can't get it because they know that. They know that they're like, oh, you have to pay for that one. Fuckers. So
hang on, let me get my titty log. 13 for Friday the 13th for most titty.
Juicy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll have to go The White Queen and Friday the 13th Part 4. But okay.
Mr. Skin needs to make a comeback so you can find all the shit.
Yeah.
So as we wrap this one up, Tooke, I'm assuming you saw Dead Reckoning as well.
That's the last one, right? Yes.
And yeah, the second to last, or
the most recent one. I mean, yeah.
That's the only one we have left to cover.
Okay.
But as far as like the previous installments, do you have one maybe that you think is the least, the worst one?
Yeah, I guess these do kind of run together for me, so it's kind of hard to like really. I mean, I think you're probably right about Rogue Nation. Because it's the one that's the most like difficult to sort of like, wait, what are we doing again?
But in our discussion, we uncovered the fact that each director had been invited back to do the follow-up movie, and they all declined. The only one who was not invited back was John Woo because of number 2.
Oh, thank God. Not that it was bad, but John, I don't know, was it John Woo did the first Hulk movie?
No, that's Ang Lee.
Ang Lee. Okay, even worse. Because I remember watching that. I know that we're off subject, but when he goes, I make movies look like comic book. I'm like, I want to watch a movie. I don't want to watch a comic book. I don't need to see 5 screens on my screen as the fucking action's happening. It's stupid.
Yeah. I think
then I'm not mad at Woo then. Like I'm confusing Ang Lee and John Woo because apparently I'm a racist. So.
Gotcha. This is our gotcha moment. Exposing up its racism.
Yes.
No, you're on all apologies, so you can apologize.
Sorry.
Yeah. Doug Ray Scott. There's a lot of good things in two. Two just had like a lot of iconography in it. Like that's where the Ben Stiller impression was lifted from and things like that. So there are good things, iconic things that came out of 2, but there is a lot of cringy shit in 2 as well. But I think like it's like not that this is the fucking Casablanca of movies at all, but it's like when things get lifted and repeated and like become recognizable in iconography, like it's hard to say that's the worst one when there's nothing like memorable about Rogue Nation.
I don't. Yeah, that's the thing about 2 is that it's of its time. We talked about how 2000s-y it is with the Limp Bizkit, and like all of the visual things that John Woo was coming off of Face Off and a lot of very popular projects that that became the highest grossing movie of the year ahead of Gladiator of all films. So it's definitely a success. Yeah, but
that's crazy.
It definitely stands alone apart from the rest of the franchise in not a bad way. I'm still going to stick to my guns and say Rogue Nation is the worst one.
Yeah. But and it's not bad. Like that's the thing. Andy's been on worst of the best too much, probably right now. We're saying like this is a worst of the best scenario. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just the worst of the.
It's the worst song on your favorite album, basically.
Yeah. Right. Yep. Yeah. Let me see. Anything else left in this that should be brought up or discussed? I don't think so. I think like a lot of Henry Cavill being in it alone, I thought was like really just out of the box type of like thinking or whatever, like just involving him in the movie. I was just like maybe an ego check on Tom Cruise's part. Like even I know he like ends up spoiler alert being like the bad guy of the whole thing or whatever, but just so well done. I just love this one. I love this movie as a movie in general, not even the franchise or whatever, but like we were saying with Dr. Steve, oh, this movie fucked up Justice League. Fuck Justice League. This movie is way better than this movie's way better than Justice League.
He was really good as a big physical threat. Like he's menacing. You know, he comes up like you see like this is clearly the guy who's a big dude. But he also just his facial expression and stuff like that. He gives off that menace that a bad guy should give. So he played it up really well.
Yeah, and they even play him as just like they're like, oh, he's here to put you in check. He's from the CIA. He's always the antagonist in some way, even though he's like revealed to be the bad guy in the end as well. But he's like plays that anti-Ethan the entire movie as well, like in a really good way. Like even that Halo thing, how Ethan saves him and everything, and he's just like, oh, you lost your oxygen tank there, like you're fucking calling Ethan Hunt to fuck up the whole time. It's good. It's just fun.
Yeah, very enjoyable.
Good one. Yeah, I was glad to have a chance to rewatch this, especially after watching Rogue Nation. I don't know why I shit on Rogue Nation so hard, but
if I knew I was doing this more than 30 minutes before we were doing it, I would have gone and rewatched it too.
I know.
Sorry.
Thanks, new girl.
But even like as we just did The Last Jedi, like watching The Last Jedi side by side with this or like back to back like this week because we're covering both and just being like, oh my god, it's like going from your favorite ice cream to getting the froyo, the worst frozen yogurt you ever ate. I'm like, fuck this movie. God, it was horrible.
You should have done what I did and watch them the other way around.
No,
make yourself feel better about Last Jedi.
Sure.
All right. Well, good job, Joe. 2K, thank you so much for
thank you guys.
Pinch hitting here. And I'd love to have you back.
Oh, absolutely. This is a lot of fun.
For what did you bring up earlier? Maybe another movie that we should talk about.
Oh crap! What we that fucking
probably a Marvel,
2 hours ago.
A Marvel thing.
Oh, it was Black Panther 2.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So fucking it's a whole other show. I'm not even gonna get started.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Yeah, talk about humiliating a fucking actor in the franchise because we talked about Carrie Fisher and Last Jedi. God, fucking the way they handled Boseman and their like the legacy of that Fucking
here's all I'm gonna say. It's a comic book movie with 3 funerals in it. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
3 funerals and a rhinoceros.
Yes.
That's Chris Rock. The death of my interest in the franchise. Four funerals. I just want to start talking about it right now. How they fucking ruined the black community. It's just like we finally have a champion, and then he's just like, oh my butt hurts. Yeah, I'm out.
Did you see Sinners yet? 2K.
No, did not see Sinners.
The movie Sinners, because it's Ryan Coogler who did Black Panther, and Michael B. Jordan is in it.
Oh yeah. I know. Okay, now I know who you're talking about now.
At one point, they're just mowing everybody down with a machine gun, and I'm just like, this must be how he feels about the Disney executives. And that's like Panther 2. It's gonna be a meme of like all the executives of him fucking just murdering everyone. The way they handled that, it's fucking garbage.
Yeah,
it's funny.
All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun, and I want to thank 2K. I got to thank Fat Edsy for hanging out and putting up with our production nonsense. For Joe's 6-pack, Trucker Andy saying,
"Stay sorry."